Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Quzmar. I see Mr. Khaled Quzmar, he's here already. Thank you very much for coming. You are the General Director for Defense for Children International in Palestine. We welcome you warmly and give you the floor to explain who you are, something about your organization, what you do, and what restrictions have been imposed on you with this designation of being a terrorist organization. So go ahead. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair, and good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you very much first for giving me this opportunity to share with you our concern and about our situation as an organization, child rights organization, subject to different kind of attacks, military attacks, and ended by, until now, ended by designated our organization as a terrorist organization. My name is Khaled Quzmar. I'm the director of Defense for Children International. Defense for Children International Palestine is a local organization registered according to the Palestinian NGOs law, but in the same time we are affiliated to the international movement called Defense for Children International with more than 30 sections around the world. The headquarters of this organization is based in Geneva. So we abide with the restrictions and with the laws, with the bylaws that the international movement is abide with and work with. So my organization established in 1991, established to defend and to promote the Palestinian children's rights under the Israeli military occupation. So we started with documenting the main violation against the children's rights, giving legal services and legal aid to the children who are victims of the Israeli occupation army, defending the children in the Israeli military courts, monitoring the situation in the Israeli detention centers and interrogation centers. So we continue working in this field for more than 6-7 years, but in the same time, there is no changes in the ground. In the contrary, the children that we use to defend every year the number is increasing. The violation against the children are increasing. The torture is increasing. So from that moment, we decided to try to do some work in order to limit the damage and to limit the crimes against the children. And then we start to document these violations and to use all the documentation that we have, to use it in the international level, asking for accountability. So our main work is to promote and to defend the Palestinian children's rights and to hold the criminals accountable for their crimes. Because simply keep giving services for tens of years without focusing in the accountability level, nothing will be changed, because the criminals, since they live under full impunity, why they will stop their crimes and their actions against the civilians and the children. So this is why we start to focus on the accountability, asking for accountability in the international level. Of course, we target the UN agencies, we target the parliamentarians around the world, and of course, looking for any accountability system in force. So the universal jurisdiction used by different Palestinian human rights and other organizations, unfortunately, we failed because there was no political will in the international level to enforce the universal jurisdiction and to give the victims the opportunity to achieve justice and to hold the criminals accountable. So my organization this year celebrated 31 years of establishment, 31 years full of work, full of suffer, full of challenges. My organization started to receive attacks, different kind of attacks from right-wing groups and sometimes from Israeli official side since more than 10 years. And all of what we faced and what they target us is only accusing us with a link of terrorist organizations, and without sharing with us any evidence, any information about that. So during the campaign of more than 15 years, in everywhere, inside the occupied territory, in Europe, in the UK, in the US, I can say, I confirm that they failed to silence us. They failed to convince any of our partners around the world, donors, partners, even states who are supporting us, UN agencies who are supporting us. They failed to convince them to stop working with us. So why I'm saying that? Because this is like a systematic attacks that we use to face and to receive from these groups. And I can say that the unexpected, to be honest, I never expected that they are going to take a military action against us. So the military action was in 29 of July 2021. They raided our office without any notification for us, without any information, without leaving any information why they did that. Just we managed to know that who are there through the record camera in the office, and the record is only, the camera is in the entrance of the office. We saw people in Israeli army uniform raided the office, and they took computers and printers and other documents. So we were shocked when we saw what happened. We came to the office. The office is the door was broken and open. So we saw the record, and then after a few hours, I asked my lawyer to submit a complaint to the Israeli military court system, asking, complaining that thieves in Israeli uniform army, they raided the office, broke the doors and confiscate computers and files. So after 2 days, my lawyer received a message from the legal advisor of the army that yes, indeed, the Israeli army raided the office because we received secret information that there is materials used in a military operation against the security, the Israeli security, or maybe will used in a military operation against the security, or maybe will use in a cooperation with a terrorist organization in a military operation against the security. So the three sentences, like in general, they can accuse anyone in the world, but how to prove that? This is the problem. So unfortunately, the court was, of course, we knew the Israeli military court system very well, but what we did is, as a kind of, to challenge the Israeli army to share what they have against us. They keep postponing the case, and after more than 2 months, the Israeli military court decided, according to the Israeli military orders, to give the army a period of 6 months to examine all the materials that they took from the office, and then to decide or to return back the equipment or to confiscate it. If this period is not enough, they can ask for an extension for another 6 months according to the military order. Just to say a few words about the Israeli military order, military court system. The military court system is only work according to the Israeli military orders, and these military orders is usually established by the Israeli military commander, and I cannot say established, I can design how to punish the Palestinian and how to legitimate, which is the most important point, how to legitimate the Israeli crimes against the Palestinians. And after that, we submitted an appeal to the Israeli military court against the decision of the judge. But again, we were shocked and surprised by hearing in the news in the 22 of October 2021 that the Israeli defense minister designated 6 Palestinian human rights civil society organizations, among them my organization. Really, it was another shock that unexpected, because already we are open for any kind of prosecution if they would like to do, but without any notification, they took this decision, even without notifying us again by publishing the decision in the media. So this decision was from the Israeli defense minister, and of course our understanding to the law, according to the humanitarian law, the jurisdiction of the Israeli defense minister is not applied in the occupied territory. So we continue working with the Israeli military court in order to deal with the appeal that we submitted. So the judge told us to postpone the case for a few weeks. We refused. Again, we received a message, a call from the legal advisor of the army asking for a postponing of the appeal case. We refused. It was supposed to be in the 2nd of November. So in the 1st of November, we received a message from the court that the case was postponed and the 2 parties can agree on a new time. And in the second day, after 2 days, we hear that in the news also that the Israeli military commander designated our organization as illegal organization, among others. So this is the process that we faced. It was an ongoing action against my organization and others. And in particular, I'm talking on behalf of my organization because I lived such a process. And they started by communicating with our donors, with the media, and then to the military escalation by raided offices. We try to challenge even those who attacks us in the UK legal system, but because this kind of work needs a lot of money, and they ask us to put as a guarantee amount of 500,000 pounds in the court account. We decided, our lawyer decided to find a settlement with one of the organizations that they used to attack us, and we agreed at the end to put in their website that they used to attack my organization because of affiliation with the terrorist organization, and they announced that they have no problem with this organization, with the structure of, even with the work of this organization. So I can say that the failure in the political level and in the military level pushed them to go ahead in their decision against my organization. My organization is, as I said, it is more than 31 years working in the field. My organization is considered the only child rights organization in Palestine. We are the only child rights who started working, defending the Palestinian children's rights in the Israeli military court system. And also after establishing the Palestinian Authority, we continue working in order to create a protective environment for the children under the Palestinian Authority, and to create a child justice system in accordance with the international standards in Palestine. And of course, we managed to do a lot of things under the Palestinian Authority, while in the Israeli level, under the Israeli military court system, there is no way to change, no way to achieve any change in that, or to change the life of the children, to manage to put end to the Israeli crimes against the children. Unfortunately, in the contrary, crimes are continuous and systematically and ongoing and widespread. So the designation decision against my organization, I know 100% why, what behind that, and I believe that because of our work. Because when we start to work in the advocacy level to expose the Israeli policies against the Palestinian children, when we start to ask for accountability, our voice become well heard in the international level. My organization is considered the main resource for the child rights situation in Palestine. Credible information received and worked and accepted by the UN agencies, by the international organization, even by states. So our presence become everywhere when we talk about the children's rights in the parliamentarians, in the European Parliament, in the Congress, everywhere. So I believe that such kind of work become unacceptable by the Israeli authorities, considered as that we crossed the red lines, and then they decided what they decide against us. For me, it's of course it is unexpected decisions against us, actions against us, against my organization, but it is a serious actions. I consider it. It's not only affected my organization, it's also passed to the those who are working with my organization, especially beneficiaries when it comes to the children. We work with children in different fields, not only children who are in conflict with the Palestinian law, not only the children who are in the Israeli military system, but also to create protective, as I said, protective environment for children, working with children themselves, with the communities, how to respect the children's rights and to raise the awareness for the children about their rights according to the international law, and how to use the international law in order to achieve your rights as a child and as a community. And this is why I'm looking in a very critical and very concerned about the Israeli decisions, that it is become a very bad message to the children themselves, those who are working with them under the principle of umbrella, how to keep the hope for those children, that there is a way how to challenge, how to achieve your rights. You can use the international law. In one night, they waked up, they discovered that those who are raising their awareness, building their capacity on the children's rights and in international law, they become considered as a terrorist organization. So what about them? I think this is one of the main things that I all the time I think about it. Of course, also in addition to the beneficiaries, the staff who are working and showing their commitment to continue the work, to achieve our mission by being with the children, defending the children, protecting the children. Now we have to protect ourselves, and we become work in risk. And according to the Israeli military order, any one of the staff can be subject to arrest and to prosecution without any interrogation. Just being in this organization, according to the military order, you can be prosecuted in the Israeli military court and sentenced for years and years. So such kind of atmosphere of work is not a normal situation. I don't believe that such kind of action against civil society, children's rights organization happened around the world. Of course, Israel is all the time consider themselves as above the law, but in this case, in this aggression against the civil society, it's a message not only to my organization, not only to my beneficiary or my partners or my staff, but also it is a message to the civil society in general that any organization would like to work under the occupation, they are welcome to work, to give services, to support, but not to touch the advocacy level or the accountability system. And for us, from long experience in this regard, without having accountability system in force, there is no way to change in the ground. crimes will continue us, crimes against humanity will continue us, since the criminals are left under full impunity, which has become as a policy, as a culture for the Israeli settlers or Israeli soldiers. So this is why we decided to keep committed to our mission, keep supporting our children, our community, in order to keep them stand under such difficult situation that they are lived, and to show that we are behind them, we are with them. But I don't know for how long we will keep our mission. Our decision is to continue committed to our mission, continue with the support of the international community, with the support of the UN agencies. And being with you today is about, as a message that since we failed, we failed, there is no way to challenge the Israeli designation decisions against us in the Israeli legal system. I believe that this is the time for the international jurisdiction to be beside us, to the accountability system, the ICC also to be with us to protect us from such aggression from the Israeli forces. I don't want to repeat what my colleagues maybe will talk about it, but this is in brief about my organization, and ready to answer the questions from your side.
Thank you very much, Mr. Quzmar. Thank you for your clear evidence. Yes, I have a question or two. And one is, you said that you still have the support of your international body, DCI, and you have the support of UN agencies. Can you elaborate on that for a while? Because I'm assuming from what you said that your international body has not reacted against you. So that's the first question. I'll come to the second question just now. Go ahead. Can't hear.
Yes. My organization is affiliated to the international movement called Defense for Children International, with more than 30 sections around the world. From the first moment of the designation decision, there was like a campaign running around the world. All the sections, they used all their networks to support and to show their solidarity with us, and asking the international community, the EU states, the Western states, to put the pressure on the Israeli government to go back from this decision, illegal decision against my organization, since they build their argument according to what they call it as secret information. So unfortunately, according to the work of more than around 1 year now, they never respond to any of the requests and the work that have done by our networks to share at least what they have against my organization, to prove that, to share evidence about what we are accused of. Only they ignored the request and the work of the supporters. From the UN agencies, yes, we received the support, and the main support and strongest statements came from the High Commissioner for Human Rights, and of course the UN expertise, the UN reporters. For us, it is very important when it comes such arguments, such statements, when it comes from human rights activists, human rights specialists. But still, until now, what we received as a support from the international community and from the donors, I appreciate it too much that they kept committed to continue support us. But in this time, we are not in need only for the financial support. We need the political support. Those who are believe with the principles of the human rights law, with the international law, with the values of the international law, they must stand behind their beliefs, their commitment, to show their commitment by pushing Israel to go back from their illegal decision against us. Unfortunately, until now, I couldn't see real actions in the political level to put Israel to rethink about their relationship even with these states. I believe that if the international community show a strong message or pass a strong message to the Israeli that the conflict will never stop between Israel and these organizations, will be between states. Those who are defending the international law, they must be stand behind the international law and use it in order to force Israel to go back from this decision. Of course, as I said, there is a support, but it is not enough. And maybe it was okay in the first time, but now after the second raid of the office, yes, it is indeed, we are looking for further action to force Israel to work.
Thank you for that response. My second question relates to your last published report. I'm interested in what was in that report, how you gathered information, and is there anything in your report that could be interpreted as supporting terrorism?
I am argue all those who are attacking us to argue or to challenge our narrative, our reports. And unfortunately, of course, I'm happy that they have nothing, of course, but they failed all the time, and they do not start to use even our narrative to challenge us. Only they use secret information and to link it to terror. So my organization work is, after 30 years of work, we built an incredible experience based in the detailed documentation from the ground, from eyewitnesses, from our field workers to document the crimes. And of course, we have now detailed information about all the crimes that committed against children since 2000 until now. So before that, there was a documentation system which is not in accordance with the international standards, but since 2000, we start to document according to the UN standards. So all these information that we gained, and we use it in our publication, in our reports, to show how much the Israeli are going ahead in their crimes against the children, crimes against humanity, and asking for accountability, showing the situation in the ground, showing the results of the Israeli aggression against children, in order to ask again to stress on to have an accountability system.
Thank you. I hand over now to the commissioners in the room who may have questions for you, Mr. Quzmar.
Mr. Quzmar, thanks very much for your testimony. I had a question about that. You said finances are not enough. You need more political support. You have not been able to get, support on universal jurisdiction. You have not been able to get other support from countries. I wanted to ask you, why do you think that is, in spite of the overwhelming evidence of the work you're doing, of the violations that you are working with?
For us, we believe that those who are supporting us financially, I expect that they are also supporting us believe with our mission and with our work that we are doing. So supporting us is not only support financially, we need the political support and to believe what we are doing and to support us to achieve our rights. I don't want to keep receive the fund from everywhere in order just to keep working with the victims while the number of the victims are increasing and the suffer of the children are increasing and continuous. So I believe that those who are believe with our work and support us financially, they must also transmit this kind of support financially, also to use it in their advocacy dialogue with the Israeli occupation. in order to push them to abide with the international law. And of course, Israel is not going to do that. This is why I am asking for letting them feel that if they will continue committing the crimes, then they will use other means of pressure on Israel in order to stop their crimes against the children. And I believe also by those who are working in Palestine and investing a lot of the money in building the civil society organization, I think without link it with the political support, this means that they are wasting their money because nothing will be changed and the crimes will continue. And now it's become more clearly, those who are supporting us, of course, they are supporting civil society in Ukraine. Why? Why in Ukraine, in a few days, they took military actions against the Russian, while in Palestine, 70 years without taking any action. Such kind of hypocrisy, such kind of double standards is no more work. It's become clearly that without changing in their policy, in their work in Palestine, I believe that nothing will be changed, only they are wasting their money in Palestine.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mr. Quzmar. My second question relates to you elaborated on the consequences of the situation, including the designation on your organization and on your staff. But I was wondering if you could speak a little bit more about the impact. You said the situation of children is worsening in the occupied territories, and it's not only a question of detention and torture, but also, I would assume, the living conditions and the demolitions and so on. But could you elaborate a little bit more on that, and particularly disaggregate between the impact on the girls and on the boys? Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, first of all, the designation, the consequences of the designation and the action against my organization is, if we are going to talk about numbers, I can say that tens of thousands will be affected by such kind of aggression against the organizations. And also I can consider also the raided of the offices and the last raided, especially the last raided when they, as I saw in the cameras, that they steal more than 74 files of the documentation that we document. Those documentation content of included the testimonies of the eyewitnesses, testimonies from the victims themselves. So now I believe that all these information are between the hands of the Israeli security and the Israeli army for which kind of purpose that they are going to use it. I believe that those who are mentioned in these files now in risk, and they can target them in any time because of being work or giving information to my organization. The other consequences when it comes to the children, and in particular, I would like to talk about what we call them, the project that we call it, how to keep the hope for the children. Work with children, boys and girls, targeted more than 500 children around the West Bank in a systematic way, having groups of 5 to 7 children each group, and to elect in each district their council, and the council become work how to create a protective environment for the children in their community, and of course supported by my organization and supervised by my organization. And at the end, we have like the International Secretariat, which is elected from all the districts to represent the Palestinian children and to raise the voice and to talk on behalf of the Palestinian children with the decision makers in the Palestinian level and also with the international level and UN agencies. Those children, half of them boys and 50-50 boys and girls, all of them affected very much by the decisions that taken against my organization. And some of the families and some of the children become worried if we would like to come to the offices again to continue the work, to build their capacity. And then in order to let them feel that they are not in risk, we start to work with other NGOs in order not to let them come to the offices to feel that they are protected. So not all of them agreed to continue back to work with us. Some of the families become worried about their children, and then they advise them not to go to these groups. But mostly, more than 95% of them, they continue. But of course, we change in the techniques that we are working in order to avoid putting them in risk, because of course they are in risk if the Israeli would like to implement these designation decisions against us. So the effects against children, boys and girls, yeah, it is both they are in risk, especially those who are sometimes giving testimonies about the crimes that committed in their community against them or against their colleagues. So now the formation is become between who are not untrusted side, which is the Israeli occupation, and then maybe we'll use it in a different levels and in different ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Quzmar. I would like to ask you a series of questions on two different issues, please. Firstly, just to continue the discussion you have been having with us about the files that were taken and the impact on children and witnesses, do you know whether any of those files concerned actual or potential court cases involving the children and the witnesses?
Yeah. According to the camera that I saw, and I saw the soldiers are getting inside the office and come back with 5 or 6 files each soldier. All the files there are documented the cases of house demolition and how much affected the children, the killing of the children, the torture of the children, and the cases of the lawyer work in the Israeli military court system and in the Palestinian court system. And in the Palestinian court system, I believe that it is one of the serious cases, especially when we talk about children in conflict with the law. And these cases considered according to the Palestinian law and the international law. It's considered they must take in advance the privacy of those children, and only those who are permitted to see these files, only the lawyer and the organization, not anyone outside the family and the lawyer. So now these information maybe can use in a different ways and in different purposes. So this is part of the other, as I said, the cases that when it comes to document a case of house demolition, consider a lot of information and from eyewitnesses. The same when it comes to the children who are subject to kill, shot and kill, or subject to torture. There is detailed information about the crime, who is committed the crime, information about the criminal. So there is a lot of secret information, and now this information is no more secret since it is between the hands of. I don't know exactly which case or which files that they created, but I know that files, the documentation files are there. Because also I found outside among the 74 files that they took, I found in the steps after the Israeli army left more than 15 files. They took down from their hands and they left it in the stairs of the building. So this is why I know that these cases are for the the documentation of the crimes that they cite against.
Do you know whether any child victims or witnesses have been approached by the military or the Israeli authorities on the basis of the information in the files?
Until now, I have no information about that, but I believe that the Israeli security can use it in not in direct way, maybe in the indirect way.
Okay, thank you. I would like to turn to the terrorism declarations and ask you directly some questions about the allegations that have been made by the Israeli authorities. We understand that the Israeli military allege that DCIP provided financial support through your accounts for terrorist organisations, particularly the Palestinian, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. Has your organisation provided any financial support directly or indirectly for the PFLP or any other terrorist organisation?
I joined my organization in 1995 as a defense lawyer defending the Palestinian children in the Israeli military court system. And after 2006, I become work in the administration and become 2015 the director. 100%, I confirm that there is no misuse of the fund. There is no any kind of transaction from our organization account to the any political organization or any political group or any military group or any our account, financial system, is a very strong system, and since more than 25 years, stated by international company, and we never received any negative comment from the accountant. And even our account company, subject to a different kind of attacks from the Israeli right-wing groups. Even they were subject to prosecution in UK because they are working with a terrorist organization called and the charity, the UK charity, national charity, they concluded after 2 years of prosecution that the Israeli organization failed to prove any kind of links between the DCI and the terrorist organization, and then they rejected the Israeli allegation. So 100% I'm sure there is no misuse of the fund, 100% sure that, and I'm responsible of what I'm saying, that there is any kind of support financially or politically even to any political party or military group.
Thank you. And you mentioned at the end political support as well. There has been no political support by DCIP for any Palestinian political party or for a political organisation. Is that correct?
DCIP is a local organization affiliated to the international movement, but also since we are a local organization, we are working with our people also, using the international law, how to achieve our right to self-determination, how to achieve our right to get independent from the occupation. We never hide such kind of objective that we have through our work using the international law.
Before the terrorist designations were made, were you advised by the Israeli authorities of any allegations made against your organisation or any evidence against your organisation to give you a chance to comment?
Until the designation decision, we never received any bad message even from the Israeli. Furthermore, we used to receive calls from the Israeli military court judges or prosecutors, even sometimes from the Israeli interrogators, that we have a case of a child without a lawyer. Can you represent him in the Israeli military court system? So we used to receive files from them. How it come referring files to us, and at the same time accusing us of terrorism. I cannot understand it, but after the designation, of course, our lawyers stopped being in the court on behalf of my organization. Then they stopped calling the organization. They used to call the office.
After the designations, were you given any information or evidence of the basis on which the designations were made?
Only what we received is through our lawyers when they asked to share with the lawyers the evidence against the organization. The information that I received is hundreds of pages. When I try to see where is our organization is mentioned, it's only in 2 sentences among more than 1,000 pages. Only talk about, yes, this organization is linked to terror organization. Which kind of links, which kind of evidence against that, which kind of information about that? Nothing at all. So myself as a lawyer, to defend a case like this, it's impossible. Since you don't know which kind of direction you are going to defend, which kind of allegation you are going to defend. Right. So they shared nothing with us.
Did DCIP's funders suspend funding at any stage as a result of the terrorist allegations?
No, at all. No one of our funders stopped. In the contrary, we signed this year contracts for 5 years and 4 years with core donors who are supporting us. Only one donor worked with us only 2 years, and they sent us a letter. Still, I have the letter that without without talking about any kind of links with terror organization, without any talk about misuse of the fund, we decided in order to save the reputation of our organization in 10 states around the world, we decided to stop working with them. For us, only this donor, I cannot consider them as a partner. Those who are supporting us financially without taking care or concern about the mission that we are implementing and the work that we are doing, I cannot consider them a donor, and only one donor among more than 20 donors. And the percentage, if I would like to talk about money, it is less than 0.5% from the.
Right. Thank you. That's all my questions, Mr. Quzmar.
Yeah, Mr. Quzmar, I had one more question about the. I mean, your organization has been under, under surveillance. One of your colleagues, Hashem Abu Maria, was killed, and you've now had the designation and the raids. Do you see a pattern emerging over the many years that you have worked with DCI Palestine of, the sort of the behavior and the policies and laws that Israel uses against your organizations? Do you see maybe if you can give us in a few minutes a more comprehensive view of what is happening? Thank you.
In Palestine, since the occupation in 1967 until now, more than 1,200,000 people been in prison. So I can confirm that there is no family, Palestinian family, without having one member or more being in Israeli prisons. So Hashem Abu Maria, the martyr, he was in prison in 1990s. He joined DCI in 2001. Since he joined the organization, he never been in prison, he never been interrogated, never been denied travel even. He used to work as the others, and even he was leading the work with the new generation, the children, what I call it, how to keep the hope for the children. He was in a civil demonstration. There was in 2014 an aggression attacks against Gaza, and there were a civil demonstration for children to show their solidarity, their support to the children in Gaza. During the demonstration, he was defending the children not to be in a place where the Israeli snipers can be harm them or be affected. Then he received a bullet, one bullet in his heart, and he was killed. Instead of opening, as a occupying power, instead of opening a real investigation about the killing of the Hashim, they start to accuse Hashim as a terrorist man, and he is affiliated to organization. Hashim, when he was killed, he was a member of the local council in his village, in his city, and he was a very well-known human being. He was accepted by all the community, all the Palestinian factions, political parties. They publish posters for him, not one of the Palestinian factions, all of them, they publish posters for him, but Hashim never used violence against, even in his work, only he was working according to the international law. So instead of opening investigation, they start to blame the victim and to criminalize the victim and the organization that Hashim used to work with. But they never shared any single evidence to prove what they are saying, what they are talking about Hashim and about the organization.
Mr. Quzmar, the killing of Hashim is, very regrettable, and as you're saying, there's no investigation. But what about all the other threats that DCI Palestine has faced? Do you see a pattern in the way in which Israel has worked with Palestinian human rights organizations?
We are a human being. We are fathers, and in my organization there is fathers, there is mothers, there is sisters who are very worried about their life and their families. And as our experience is, sometimes they are not targeted the person in person. Sometimes they target his family. At least this is the message that I received when they called me and to meet the Israeli security in the Israeli military camp. I met, the message was clearly, without saying anything, just he start to name my daughters, my sons, and to give that he has detailed information about my family. This, for me, considered as a message that your children, your sons, they will pay the price, and if you keep. They share with me which kind of the car that I have, where is my house. It's like it's written that yes, yourself or some of your family will pay the price. Of course, what I'm subject to is all my colleagues, my staff, even those who are working with us. Maybe we will be subject to such kind of risk.
Navi, do you want to take over?
Yes. So, Mr. Quzmar, unfortunately, time has caught up with us. I would like to thank you for your testimony today. You will notice that in these proceedings, we are not drawing any conclusions or making any judgments. We're just here to listen to you. So we appreciate the time you've given us. Be safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I will now call a 10-minute break. If we can resume at 16:30, we will be hearing from Adamir. Thank you.